Hello, my name is Leroy Blevins. Welcome to Mysteries and Histories. In this episode here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the reality into the JFK assassination. For years, I've been posting information that I've uncovered. Photographic evidence, gunman's location, shots were fired, where those shots came from, where those shots made contact with, and everything else. Plus showing other evidence on top of that. Now, there's been people out there, doing research for years and stuff, don't get me wrong. They're coming up with their own conclusions and everything else like that, but they have nothing to show for evidence. But it really doesn't matter about that right now because everybody out there are looking for one thing: who killed JFK? Now, excuse me, in my research, okay, I have my own conclusions on who is behind the assassination. But there's other people out there who think that this person behind the assassination or that person. It doesn't matter at this point in life. It really doesn't matter. And here's the reason why I say that. It's been 54 years since the assassination of JFK. Most of the people that surrounds the assassination of JFK has already passed away. People are still trying to point the finger on who did it. No one may never know who actually was behind the mastermind behind the assassination of JFK. As a researcher, and this is my point of view as being a researcher, all we can do is go over the evidence, piece things together, and find out exactly what happened that day. Basically, that's all I've done was trying to find out what happened that day. The photos and the images and stuff like that tell us a lot of information. Over the years, people overlook this stuff. Okay, but everybody still has their own conclusions and their own opinions on, well, this shot or that shot or anything else. The facts of the reality is there was 13 shots that day. The fact of reality is there was 5 gunmen there that day. And the fact of reality is Oswald was one of the assassins. No matter which way you want to look at it, you can't take the facts away. Like I said, as a researcher, all we can do as a researcher is trying to fit the puzzle together, put all the pieces together, and show exactly what took place that day. Because as far as finding the complete mastermind behind the assassination of JFK, it's never going to be solved. And it will never, ever be solved. Okay? Unless you have but people will say anything they want, like confessions. You got people said it was the assassin, and it really wasn't. So it's hard to believe in what was told. But now let's look at the reality of the fact into the JFK assassination. We know for a fact that these images here was taken by Oswald's wife. She turned in the camera. She told them she's the one who took these images. We know for a fact that Oswald developed these images. He was fired from his job in Dallas, Texas, because he was developing these images and other things as well, because he had a communist paper in his hand and he had a rifle. No matter which way you look at it, people's tried 1,000 times over saying this image is altered and they put Oswald there. No, it's a plain fact that Oswald is in all 3 of these images. It's a plain fact that Oswald's wife admitted she took the images. And it's a plain fact that Oswald did develop these images. But we also know for a fact that the rifle that Oswald has in his hand and the revolver that he has on his hip is not the ones he ordered through in March of 1963. These rifles and this rifle in this image here and this revolver in this image here is another rifle that Oswald owned. And the revolver that you see right there is this revolver right here. If you watch my cursor, this revolver on top, that's the revolver we see in the backyard image of Lee Harvey Oswald. This revolver here, Oswald sold to his brother for the sum of $10. It just went up on the auction block a couple of years ago or so. But this is the revolver that Oswald had in that image, that backyard image. This revolver here is not. This revolver here was ordered in March. Them 3 images were developed in February 5th. So see, We might not know exactly who was the mastermind behind the assassination of JFK, excuse me. But we do know for a fact of what took place that day. We do know for a fact that how many people was there. Just like as the stuff I was just pointing out. Okay, there was a fact, this is a fact, that the two tramps that they picked up that day was two of the assassins. This is a plain fact now. The gunman here, the tall gunman, okay, you can put anybody's name you want on it or whoever it was. This was the gunman inside of shelter number 3. This is the gunman that took the fatal headshot right here. This guy here took the fatal headshot to JFK. This is a plain fact because we can see him taking a shot to JFK. This gunman here, we know for a plain fact that that's the assassin that shot Governor Connally in his back as he was turning to his left. Plain fact because we can see this. It's a plain fact that there was a gunman on the second floor of the county records building. It's a plain fact that there was a gunman on the rooftop of the county records building. It's a plain fact, again, I hate to say it that way, but it is, plain fact. Lee Harvey Oswald, here's a Dillard image. This is the scan image that I got. It's a plain fact that Lee Harvey Oswald was on the 6th floor, as you see him here, on the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository. So now his location at the time of assassination was not on the 2nd floor, was not out in front. It was on the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository. Other evidence compel against that as well, because two of the bullet casings, as you see right here, which I'll shrink this a little bit so you can see here, the two bullet casings right here, which is these right here, has Oswald's right thumbprint on them. Another plain fact. They removed a lot of signs that day. Now we have our answers why they removed the signs. Because a bullet did strike a sign on the lamppost, as you see right here. We can see this in the Zapruder film. The bullet strikes the lamppost, the sign on the lamppost, and ricocheted off. So to get away with just removing this sign, they removed a few more other signs there too. So people start getting speculations on, okay, well, there's a bullet that went through the street sign, the Stemmons Freeway sign there. No, that was all false information on that part. Like I said, we know for a fact by photographic evidence, eyewitness accounts, and accounts as this, the fatal headshot to JFK, where JFK's head exploded open, came from shelter number 3 and a gunman on the inside of shelter number 3. The shot to Governor Connally, as I pointed out, as he was turning off to his left, came from also the second gunman inside of shelter number 3. Eyewitness accounts back this up. Photographic evidence back this up as well. The gunman on a rooftop of the county records building, he took distraction shots a day. This is a fact because we could see the shots that he took. Here's two of the shots right here. As you see, the two shots to the manhole cover, which plainly both bullet holes still can be seen today 54 years later. You can go there and see them bullet holes, touch them and everything else. That bullet holes came from the JFK assassination. You have 30.06 bullet casing found in 1975 on a rooftop of the county records building. You have photographic evidence showing two bullets striking this manhole cover. You have other photographic evidence showing the gunman, Secret Service agents and police retrieving a bullet line in grass right by the manhole cover and studying over these bullet holes here and trying to guess which way these directions that these bullets came from. So, like I said, even just like Oswald's location where he was living, right here, as you see, which I'll shrink this, right here, if you watch my cursor, right here is where he took the backyard image. Right here is Oswald's boarding house. As you see, just quite a few blocks, but they're still in the same location where he lived in his boarding house. And right over here is where the backyard image was taken. There was a rifle in this window location because, as you see on this box here, it's an imprint of a butt plate from a rifle on the box from the sniper's window. For a fact, I'm going to show you this just like this right here. Oswald did not take the stairway down to the lunchroom. He took the elevator down. This is another plain fact into the case. There was 5 gunmen there that day. It's plain fact. Okay. Photographic evidence shows us the location of these gunmen. Shows us with them with rifles in their hands, aiming rifles and firing rifles from these locations. This is the reality of the case. Lee Harvey Oswald was on the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository. No matter which way anybody wants to talk about it or say about it, we have photographic evidence of him being on that floor. We have testimonies of them leaving him up there. We have fingerprints on the bullet casings. We have the rifle that he bought under the name of A. Heidel that was retrieved on the 6th floor of Texas School Book Depository. We also have the revolver that Oswald had on, that he also was ordered under A. Heidel. So these are plain facts. There was a gunman on the rooftop of the county records building on the 2nd floor of the county records building. These are plain facts. And to top all the facts off, there was, in fact, 13 shots fired that day, which I thought I had the image up here, but I guess here it is right here. You have 13 shots fired that day. We know who took the shots now. We know the location of those gunmen, and we know where their shots made contact with. We know exactly what happened that day. Now, like I said, everybody can fight all they want and argue all they want about this case on who was behind it. They'll never know who was actually the mastermind of the assassination of JFK. All we can do as researchers is find the evidence to find out where these shots came from. We know the story that's told by the Warren Commission report was false. We also know the stories that was told over the years about the JFK assassination is false. Now we know exactly what took place that day, how many shots were fired that day, and a gunman's true location. So we came a long way. We got a lot more today than it was 54 years ago, because now we got timelines of the shots. We have the distance of the gunmen, where their location was and where they took the shots at JFK or Governor Connell or in the surroundings. We have photographic evidence of them gunmen there. So now we know the story. You'll find us all this evidence and more in a book called Evidence of a Conspiracy by me, Leroy Blevins. Always in the description down below, you're going to find a site where you can order this book. Don't forget to tell your friends about us. Don't forget to hit that like button. Share this video with other people so they know this information. The really reality of this case is been solved. As far as who was behind it, the great mastermind, the top mastermind behind assassination, no one may never know. And that's the truth, whether you can read every document they got out there and everything else. You're never going to pinpoint the exact head top guy behind the assassination of JFK. But we can say we know today for a fact what really took place that day. Don't forget that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. You have a pleasant day.